Hi, families. Thank you so much for joining us tonight to learn more about what your first grader is learning this year. I am Sarah Walcott, and I'm going to be talking to you about what we learn in phonics and writing. Phonics is a really, really important part of reading, and all it means is that we are studying sounds and then learning the letter combinations or the letters that make those sounds. So, the first thing that we start doing in first grade is we review the letters from kindergarten, and we've just finished going through all of the consonants and the five vowels. And at this point in the year, your first graders should be able to read three-letter words that are consonant, vowel, consonant, like the word dot. Your students should be able to read all three-letter words like that. We just finished the vowels that are short. So the next thing that we're going to be going to is we're going to be going into blends. And blends are just two consonants that are together in a word. For example, in the word flat, we have a blend at the beginning because we have an F and an L. They each make their own sound still, but they're next to each other in a word. And we'll be learning about consonant blends that you see at the beginning and consonant blends that you'll hear at the end. So we're going to be starting off with R blends, L blends, and we also work on S blends. All of those will still be with short vowels. So your child will be learning how to read a word like slug. Slug. Still going to be using those short vowel sounds that they learned last year in kindergarten. After we learn about blends at the beginning of words, and we'll learn about them at the end of words, like the word past. We have a blend at the end, two consonants at the end of the word, and they still make their own sounds. They're just next to each other. After that, we go into learning sounds that are made by two letters and they make brand new sounds. So this year, your students will be learning about CH, ch, SH, sh, TH, and WH. After we get through all of that, then we're going to be learning about long vowels. And of course, long vowels are when the letter just makes it its own name. So, for example, the word whale has a long A because we hear it say A. We learn about what we call magic E or vowel consonant E, like the word cake. Students learn that that magic E at the end doesn't say anything, but that it makes the A long and it says its own name, like cake. After we learn about magic E or vowel consonant E, then we go into vowel teams, like the word pale. Students will learn what to say when they see two vowels working together in a word. So that is pretty much phonics for this year. Students learn how to read the words, and we also do work with them spelling the words. The spelling words that your child has every week are skills that we have already taught in phonics. So they should be able to listen to the word, break it down into the sounds, and then write the letters that make those sounds. Another important part of first grade is writing. We're going to be doing lots of different types of writing this year. Right now, we're working on informative writing, and that just means writing to teach somebody and give them information, give them facts about something. So your child may be writing about animals and telling facts about animals. The biggest thing about writing in first grade is learning to write a sentence correctly. So the things that we focus on are having a capital letter at the beginning, finger spaces are super important for first graders. A lot of kids this year are still putting words next to each other. So we're looking for capitals, finger spaces, an end mark, which may be a period, but it could be a question mark or an exclamation point also. And then spelling common words. I'm sure Miss Jackson talked about sight words already, but we would expect that your child knows how to spell basic sight words like the, is, and so on. Another important part of writing is actually writing on the lines. This is something that a lot of our children are still struggling with. So we're just reinforcing that. If you have this kind of primary writing paper at home, that's a great way to help your children. I call this the hat line, the belt line, and the shoe line. And that just helps the kids know where to start their letters. The letter D starts at the hat line, goes to the shoe line, and then you go back to the belt line. If you don't have primary writing paper, that is okay. You're going to tell your kids that there's just a hat line and a shoe line, and you're going to work with them to make sure that they are putting the letter so it's sitting down on the line. I also want to give you a little bit of information tonight about what to do when your child is doing their 20 minutes of reading homework and they get to a word that they're stuck on. We've just started signing out library books this year. Those will be coming home in a few weeks. The first couple of weeks, Miss Wool has students just keep the books at their desks at school. But when your child brings home that library book, that is a great way for him or her to get those 20 minutes of reading in. And students are also going to be expected to take accelerated reader or AR tests this year on the books that they read. So the first thing that you can tell your child if they come to a word that is tricky and they don't know it is you can tell them, remember to get your mouth ready and say the sounds. So if I had a sentence that said, the cat is brown, and my child is stuck on this word, I would just remind them to remember to say the sounds for the letters. K, a, t, cat. Sometimes that's not going to work, and so we have a few other things that you can do to help your child. I've got a quick bookmark here to help remember what they are, but one of the things we tell the kids is eagle eye. Look at your eagle, use your eagle eye. Sometimes if it's a picture book, the kids can actually look at a picture and figure out what the word is from looking at the picture. So that's using your eagle eye. Lips the fish, that means to get ready. And basically that's what we talk about when we say we're sounding the words out. Lips the fish, get your lips ready. Get ready to say that sound. At. Sometimes students need to stretch the sound out. They can say the individual sounds, but they have trouble putting the word together. So after the child says k, at, you can tell them to stretch it. K, at. And sometimes they'll hear themselves say the word. And that was actually stretchy snake when you tell them to stretch the word out after they get their lips ready. Chunky monkey is one of my favorites. Chunky monkey just means looking for parts of the word that you know. So if my sentence is, the girl called the dog, if your child's stuck on the word call, you can tell them to look for chunks they know, parts of the word that they know. Your child may recognize all. Another thing that's really helpful is if there's an ed or an ing at the end of a verb, I will sometimes tell the kids to cover that up, and they may be able to break down the word easier when it doesn't have the ed at the end. Skippy frog. Believe it or not, it is okay to tell your child to skip the word, but here's the rule. They can't just skip it. They have to go back and try it again. So if the sentence was, the girl called the dog home, your child might be able to read the girl. They get stuck on that word and they don't go any further. You tell them it's okay to do Skippy Frog, the dog home. But they have to go back and try a word. The girl, the dog home. And they may be able to figure out that it's called. Another thing that is not on the bookmark but really works for some kids is if you have them say the sound at the beginning and the sound at the end of the word, they may be able to figure out the middle. So it would look something like this. The girl, the dog home. And they might say, oh, the girl called the dog home. Flippy the Dolphin, we aren't using that yet, but it just means if you read a word that's got a vowel in it and it doesn't make sense, try the other sound. So if the word was cake, and we haven't learned the long vowels yet, so your child may not be ready to do this, but if the word was cake and your child read it as cack, you could say, try Flippy the Dolphin. Flip the vowel sound and read it with a long sound. K, ache, cake. So it may make more sense if they switch it to the other vowel sound. If it's short, have them try the long sound, or if it's long, have them try the short sound. And then the last one is trying lion, and that just means don't give up. Keep trying to work on that word. See if you can get it. Stick with it. The more your child reads, the better he or she will get. And it is so critical that you have your child read for 20 minutes every night as part of their homework. That can be practicing sight words. If you're able to read on Epic, you can read on Epic. It's free until 4 o'clock every day. After that, a paywall comes up. Some parents choose to have a subscription. Of course, Washington Library has a huge children's section, and library books will be coming home as well. And if your child's teacher ever sends home stories for you to read on a sheet of paper, I know sometimes Mrs. Carpenter sends stories home, or your child's classroom teacher may send home a worksheet that has a story on it. Have your child read that every night. But the more they read, the better they're going to get. If you have any questions about the strategies or you need a copy of it, please feel free to contact your teacher. And thank you so much for working with your children. You're really your child's first teacher. And when you help them with their reading at home, it sends such a strong message about how important reading is. Thank you for your time and have a good night. Bye-bye.